A common problem we see in doubles is not intercepting the shuttle early enough in the mid-court, letting the shuttle go behind you and putting yourself in bad positions. So in this video, we're going to show you how to use your jump and reach more effectively to take the shuttle early.
So Dean, we know doubles is all about taking the shuttle as early as possible. So what is this mistake we're seeing players make?
So it's more down to players feeling like maybe trying to get on balance. So when we're looking at this jump out in the mid-court, it is a maximum reach, it is a stretch. We're not necessarily going to feel on balance, and we might have to feel like when we've landed, we've got to quickly try and spring back into court. But we have to think about the imagery that we create by jumping out and taking the shuttle early and what that is going to do to our opponents. Now, I think realistically, they're going to probably struggle to come forwards because we still look aggressive. Whereas the common problem we sometimes see is that actually, because people find that this feels uncomfortable, they kind of track the shuttle. They go back further with the shuttle and end up feeling, okay, I'm on balance now, I feel in a good position. That shuttle has now dropped, we're in a much later position, and our opponents can then start to take the attack back.
And I think if we see the difference is very much singles versus doubles there. In the singles, it's all about being on balance. Whereas, so you would come back here, whereas doubles, it's all about time as well. Like you are reducing the time your opponent has to react and get the next shuttle massively. So it's all about prioritizing that.
Exactly, and kind of bringing that conversation of flight time that we've mentioned before. If I take that shuttle early in the mid-court, that shuttle is not traveling anywhere near as far as if I let that shuttle travel into the rear court. And also the shot back, again, has to travel less distance if I take it in the mid-court.
So Dean, obviously it's easy enough to say, take the shuttle earlier, but what technically do we want to be trying to do to help with this?
I think two things. The first thing is we're going to talk about the racket leading first. We will sometimes undervalue this racket, as we mentioned before. This is what makes contact with the shuttle, so it's really important to consider how early this is going to the shot. So if I'm here, my first movement is very much trying to feel like I'm maximising the stretch with the racket, with the arm, and then allowing the legs to then make up the rest of the distance, even if required. And then number two is then using that jump. So as we mentioned earlier, that jump is going to feel very much sideways, lateral, trying to feel like we're intercepting the shuttle if I still can't reach it without it. So as I'm kind of stretching here, it's then trying to feel like as I've landed that I'm then back on balance as quick as I can to still maintain the rally.
So in a way, it's almost feeling comfortable being uncomfortable, because you're going to be taking yourself, stretching to the limits to get to this shuttle as early as possible. This
isn't just about how we feel, it's how it makes our opponent feel, and that's sometimes the bit that we can get carried away with is, yes, okay, I feel stretched, I feel like I might be a little bit out of position when I hit this shot, but I don't look like that to my opponent. I look early, I look aggressive, I look like I'm taking the shuttle high, and because of that, I create a lot of space around the front of the court that I wouldn't have if I felt in a better position on balance and late at the back of the court, because they would start to close that gap.
So Dean, we're obviously at full stretch here, but how would we technically go about hitting this shot?
I think if we're right at the end of kind of maximising the length of the racket, our arms at full stretch, it's probably going to feel like it's a little bit more of a kind of quick tap with the wrist to bring that down, because I'm not going to have the control all the way out here to feel like I can guide that back in with the arm. But if it was still maybe a jump out where you're stretching up here and it felt like maybe a little bit closer to you, you might feel like you could have had a little bit more control by using the arm.
But the main focus here is the shot is a controlled shot, guiding the shuttle down to just keep yourself in a good attacking position.
Exactly, to maybe then take a recovery step to feel like actually the next shot might be the one where I can apply a little bit more pressure. This shot, as you said, is mainly about maintaining the attack, keeping the rally going.
So we flipped onto the backhand side. Dean, is there anything really going to change here?
Not massively. The main talking point is obviously the grip, and that's going to be kind of the only difference. Everything else will stay the same. You're still going to try and feel like you're leading with racket, still trying to take shots as early as possible. Now, in relation to contact point, this is where the grip may change. So let's just talk about if I'm making contact level with my body. So I'm really trying to get up early onto that shuttle and I'm here. We're probably going to be using more of a bevel grip, where that kind of thumb is more in the groove of the racket, because the angle of the racket will then still point straight. If I was still trying to intercept that shuttle, but it was going slightly behind me and I used that same bevel grip, what you may find is the racket then points out to the side a little bit. So I need to make a small adjustment with my grip, where that thumb may feel now it's a little bit more on the side of the racket. So even now, if I was still able to intercept the shuttle here, the strings are now pointing straight and I'm still going to be able to play a quality shot into court.
And if you do find that those grips are a bit confusing, we have made a video on it that will link in to the end of the video, so you can go and have a look at all those different grips you might need to use in a game of badminton.
So the first drill we're going to work on is working on the technical aspects of the shot. The feeder's aim is to hit the shuttle behind me on either my forehand side or my backhand side, and my aim is to intercept the shuttle as early as I possibly can, playing into the front of the court whilst maintaining good margin. This next routine is a single shuttle routine with the feeder now standing in the forecourt. They're trying to play flat pushes into the midcourt and at any point can play a harder or higher shot to try and force me late into the rear court. My aim as a worker is to stop that shuttle going behind me and intercept early in the midcourt.
So Dean, what are the key takeaways from this video?
I think when we're talking about doubles, it's mainly about making sure that we're making contact with the shuttle at its earliest possible point, irrelevant to if that sometimes feels like it feels off balance for us, because of the image we create to our opponents.
So because you are outstretched and at full reach, don't feel like you've got to hit that shuttle hard. It's all about control. In a way, you've done the hard work by trying to take it early, so you're just trying to maintain that attack and get yourself back into a good position. So if you like this video, please hit the like and subscribe button and head over to our Instagram and give us a follow.